Hey, what is up, everybody? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcast, Rapid Sparza, coming to you live. It is 7:25 Best Coast time. It is a pleasure to see you. So we have a great guest. We'll get to him in a second. But first and foremost, I want to say a couple things. If you guys aren't taking us up on this little offer that we're doing to you guys, I hope that you do it. We're offering the opportunity for y'all to give some shine to your gyms. The only thing that we are asking in return is that you make it humorous. You can create a 1-minute commercial. We'll put it on during our commercials. We'll plug it on the show here. We want to give back to everybody who's been so nice to us. And more importantly, we get notes every once in a while that says, how do we plug our show or our gym on the show? And I just say things like, well, just send me a commercial. It's pretty easy. So in the meantime, all you have to do, get together with your friends, create a commercial, make it funny, and we'll see if we select you. I'm not promising I'm going to select them all. We're really just trying to make sure if it's funny, we'll put it on. If it's not, don't blame me. Blame yourself. So we also want to give some love to our sponsors. First and foremost, go and check out our friends over at Manscaped. If you need to go and trim the area, I know it's past Valentine's Day, but it doesn't mean that you can't take care of yourself as if it is Valentine's Day. If you use the promo code VerbalTap, you're going to get 20% off of whatever you put in your cart. Plus, I want you guys to give some love to our friends over at dodgycollective.com. Look at what it is that they have to offer. They have some amazing spats, rash guards, artwork, all of that good stuff. All right, now that I've done the plugs, I can get to the actual fun business. Here's the fun business I have for you guys today. Our guest is a friend of the show. He was on one of our very first episodes. I've always enjoyed covering this man's fights, whether it be local or as we continue to watch him evolve and become an even more interesting MMA practitioner. We just saw him compete over at LFA. He had a hard-ass fight, and it's one of those fights that I look and it puts grit just not even as a fighter, but for those of us watching it, I felt like I became tougher watching this man fight that fight. But watching him is always great. Great jiu-jitsu, great personality, great everything. Today our guest is Fernando Padilla. So we're going to chat with him. We're going to catch up with where we left off because, as you may remember, he gave us an incredible story about moving here from Mexico. He was also telling us what it meant to him to be a jiu-jitsu and MMA practitioner. So I'm glad that today we get to welcome back your friend and mine, one Fernando Padilla. Sir, how are you doing, man?
Really good, really good. Happy to be here. Happy to be back here.
Well, dude, it's a pleasure to have you back, man. It's funny because I always see you doing silly things on Instagram. I always see you, if you're not doing something funny, you're grinding it out. You're putting in hard rounds. Occasionally you're dancing. So it's always one of those things. I guess the question is, how come you have so many videos of people catching you in the moment when you're just in the middle of dancing? Like, how come there are so many Instagram stories of you doing that?
I'm always dancing. That's the problem.
And the weird part is,
always dancing.
It's never from your account. It's always from somebody saying like, "Oh, look at this guy again," and then they tag you, and then you're just like, you reshare it like, nothing wrong with that. I've got good rhythm.
I mean, it's funny because like I don't have time to be like taking videos of myself dancing. I just do it all the time. Like people just catch me when I'm literally just vibing with my just listening to the music and dancing all the time.
I still think the funniest things that I see you do that with are when you're matched up with Christian, because Christian always provides like a nice still man version. Like I've seen him try to be loose and go with the flow, but he always looks like a tin man compared to you because you have natural rhythm. And I'm not gonna say he doesn't. I'm just gonna say he just stands there and goes, I'm in one of these videos again, huh? All right.
Nah, Christian can like put on a show when he's dancing. We actually will have like a little step. Me and one of my roommates, that we call it the Christian, because for every single song, the Christian always works. Like he's always like, vibing to it, and like it always works. It always works.
It is very reminiscent of a cholo-esque in the corner dance. Yes, no, I've seen a couple of those videos. Well, first and foremost, congratulations to you for your big win at LFA. You know what's
Thank
so
you.
great is when I always catch up with you and I shoot you a note, I'll trade notes with you, but this one would surprise me because I knew you were kind of getting ready for a fight. But last week I said, "Hey man, when's the next fight that you got coming up?" And you go, "Oh, next week." So tell me
That's I mean,
how did the fight come together, man? Like, how long out did you know in advance that this fight was going to be coming up?
I had like 3 weeks, 4 weeks to get ready. Coach was on a fight. I think it was on Ricky's fight actually. And he texted me and Flo, one of my roommates, the girl who fought too. He was like, "Hey, you guys have fights. Get ready. February 12th." And I was like, I mean, we've been ready. We've been training like the entire year super hard. No rest. So I was pretty much just ready for it. Obviously, we changed the training from being not focused on me to be focused on me and Flo for the fights. Um, the grind was harder always when you go into fighting and into a fight camp. Already you're in a fight camp. You start like you just finish training like, oh, I want to go to sleep.
Hmm.
So yeah, we have actually 3 4 weeks. It was good. It was a good camp. I feel that like obviously for this like it wasn't too much like a plan for my opponent. But I had time for everything, to get ready for the fight, to like check him out, to like train good, run, get my cardio up, get my weight cut was super easy too. I feel that I was so healthy, just it helped me so much.
Yeah, no, I mean you looked great, and I guess the question for most fighters that we've been asking is, a lot of people have had to readjust their schedules with COVID and kind of get there. For you, this was your first fight in what? Almost close to 2 years. So how did it feel like to have that time off? Like, how much did it mean to get back out there?
Like honestly, now I can say it better. When they were asking me like before the fight, I could not tell you, like, oh yeah, like these layoff was so bad. But now that I had the fight and like I experienced that, I really don't feel that I got out of my, like, it was bad to have that like time without fighting. I don't feel a big difference, but I think like more now, the more that I see the fight now, I can like actually say that like, hey, like I kind of act like I was on sparring.
Hmm.
The reactions that I have was like more of a sparring reaction that like, hey, I'm going to fucking win this fight. Sorry for the curses.
No, you can curse. You're good.
But yeah, like I feel that that was pretty much it. Other than that, everything was like I feel great inside the cage. I was enjoying myself. I think like I was so happy. I think he's smiling a couple times. He was hitting me. I was just like, oh man, like I'm so happy.
Yeah, I wanna talk with you about that because people don't really punch me for a living, but if anybody ever like hits me on the shoulder, I'm not very happy about it. So when I saw you eat some of those shots and then I saw you smile after, I go, what's wrong with this kid? Why is he smiling after being punched?
I mean, that's just me. That's my style. That's a Mexican in me, but it's also the Fernando.
Hmm?
Uh, you always said like they always are like, oh, you're always smiling and stuff, but you change when you're in the cage. Well, yeah, I kind of changed, but that same energy is there. I'm gonna smile at you. You're going to feel like, hey, like, and like for example, I talked to Nate. Nate is a super cool dude after the fight, and that's something that he told me. And he's not the first person who told me, but he's like, man, I was just hitting you with everything, and like you didn't even flinch.
Hmm.
You took every single kick. I was thinking like, man, like I'm kicking him hard, like his leg is going back, but he's still on my face. He's not even like the leg doesn't even look like it's hurting, and that's my mindset. It's just like, hey, I'm there. I want this. I want this. Like, you don't hit that hard. You're not going to hurt me. Obviously, is not the best thing. I always say that my style is not the best style. I don't like to get hit that much after the fight. Is when they start hurting.
Yeah.
But that's how you learn. That's how you learn. That's how you stop getting hit by the same stuff, getting hit and over.
Well, see, I like your style. I like watching you fight and having the chance to cover some of your fights. I know that sometimes to other people, maybe your coaches have something else that they want you to do, but I always find it pretty exciting. And I think, again, going back to one of the first times I really got to see your fight live, I'd seen you on TV or covered on different fights, but like watching your jiu-jitsu mechanics made me so impressed with your fight ability. So immediately seeing that, I always get really excited for the jiu-jitsu guy getting in there fighting. But I think that what was nice is we're seeing an evolution of your striking. But on this past event, we saw that you have a chin because when he said he was hitting you, he was connecting, but you didn't really look all that phased by a number of those hits. So I thought that was pretty impressive that you were able to walk through. I do want to ask, when you have an opponent that is a little bit smaller in stature, and it's got to be hard for him to find his angles, what adjustments did you have to make mid-fight to when you did see he was starting to connect?
Uh, Obviously the change of rhythm first of all. Uh, I think my striking style has been getting more technical. So the way that I react to stuff is more like getting out of the way, circling an angle, cover. But uh, before it wasn't like that. Before it was just like always like go forward, go forward. So uh, a lot of the fights were the same. Now that I can see like him coming in, coming out, obviously I have to do like a lot of switches. And I don't know if you see it, like I'm never stop moving
Mm-hmm.
my levels, changing my levels, always faking at least something, so I can keep him outside. Um, Also because they are shorter, I need to be short. So like I need to like crawl a little bit
Mm.
more. You see my stance a little bit more like super small, and I feel that that's pretty much the biggest thing. Like if I keep hitting you from the top from upstairs,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be on disadvantage. But if I hit you from here, I'm still the same long. I'm still longer than you. So just I feel that that's the biggest thing. Just keep them guessing so they don't get in that hard, and be on the same level when they come in. If they come in lower than me, like I know they have the opportunity.
That makes sense. And I did see you change your levels a number of times to both get out of danger and to also use it to great striking effect. When I saw
Yeah,
you kind
and
of stepping out and getting, like, say, a kick or a punch in, I was like, man, that was a really smart switch that you were able to do in a couple of those scenarios.
even getting in, because he for I knew his power leg is going to be the right one. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, and even the hand, even his heavy hand was the right hand. So I was circling to the other side, but I saw him switching it and starting launching for the left hook.
Mm-hmm.
Like I actually feel one that like hit me, and I counter back. But from other ones, I step in. Like I literally
Mm-hmm.
step in for that. I was like, okay, if you're going to hit, it's going to pass through my head, but it's not going to hit me. But we kind of clash heads, and then a lot of people, like if you see that, it's like, how did they clash heads if they are so far like apart on heights? And it was just like I was doing my job. I was getting lower. I was getting lower.
I'll tell you one thing that concerned me because I'm more of a student of just barely learning a lot of striking and boxing, but I saw your uppercuts and just a couple of your reach advantages. All I could think of was every time you hit an uppercut, I was like, "Yo, that's unfair, man! Like, I don't like how much range this guy has with any of these coming from underneath punches right here." So I was very impressed with that. I do want to ask this. So, what was the experience like getting there? I know you talked a little bit about the fight, and we'll come back to that. But what was it like? Because I saw that you got there, and was it snowing when you guys were traveling? I know that it's been very difficult to travel in this weather right now for a number of people.
Yeah, it was. Wichita was literally snow, pretty much. It was. Honestly, it was a great trip. I'm actually really glad and like blessed with the way this thing happened. Uh, I tell you, I've been training like the entire year nonstop. So when the time for the weight cut came, I was already good. I usually, sorry, I usually walk down on my like on 159, 160. So the cuts are not that hard. But for this cut, everything went smooth, really good. The day of the fly, we I flied on that was Wednesday.
Mhm.
I fly with 150 on my weight, and I was feeling great, like energy, like everything was on point. Um, Luis was with me, and Carla went with Flo, but it was just good energies, good vibes. I was just ready, like before getting into the fight, everything was I was just all already mentalized to win this fight. I was thinking every day about me getting my hand raised, me knocking him out, me tapping him out in like a lot of ways. So in my mind, there was literally no doubt about it. So I was able to enjoy a little bit of the trip. I hate cold weather, but I mean, I mean it was Wichita. It was something new.
The
But
post that I saw you put up though of when you just were arriving and you saw the snow, and I my heart hurt for you because I go, I don't know how to cut weight and fight. So I don't know what that is. First, you add the snow element of it and you're already your body weight's coming down. So there's nothing really to absorb. There's no fat to absorb the cold. So all I could think of was I go, yeah, I don't think he's worried about the weight cut at all. I just think this motherfucker's cold. Like it's just a
no,
terrible
my
time to travel.
actually Flo was concerned about the weight. I wasn't. Like, thank God I wasn't. But yeah, it was cold as fuck. I was like, oh man, it's impossible to like do something here to cut weight. The room was cold. Even like I feel that a lot of the little things that I have after the fight that hurts
Mm.
was because it was so cold. You know, I
Mm.
finished the fight and then like the area, the whole arena was cold. So like, man, it was just after the rush, and you're like, I'm like over there, he's shaking. He's like, oh damn, he's cold. So like, man, it's just Wichita does like we really didn't see nothing. Something that it was really cool is that every single person who like treat us over there was super cool people. I get to talk with a lot of Mexicans too. You know, whereas they're where his work is Mexicans. So uh, I get to meet a couple of them to work on the hotel. That was pretty much our spot, the hotel.
Mm.
Even the food in the hotel was great. Like honestly, props to Holiday Inn and oh, I mean they doing good.
I just again I laughed pretty profusely because I saw you get off there, and I just go, you know what, he's got to go through the hard part now, but he's there. And my only thing that I could think of in terms of a joke was I said Wichita sounds like a much better place to go during the summer, but when it is cold, I said, can we move this for the guys to a different place, maybe somewhere hotter in region? Are you sure you guys couldn't shop this on
Please.
over to Florida at all?
No, honestly, yes, please. Wichita wasn't like, yeah. I mean, thank you for letting us fight, but
No, I get it. Okay, let's take a moment though. We talked about the adjustments you were making. Can you tell me something that you were pleased about that you were implementing in the fight? Because again, I mentioned how I know you more as a jiu-jitsu guy, but you're not just a jiu-jitsu guy. But was there anything that you did in that fight that you were like, yo, we worked on this, we've been working on this, I feel like we made improvements or strides here? Did you have an area that you were able to take away after the fight that you said, yeah, I felt like I did something that was good there?
yeah, something that we've been working a lot. Even coach, it's something that coach always told me is numbers, numbers, numbers. I feel that when I get to connect in this fight was because I was throwing a lot of numbers. Even my combinations, when I see like the fight when when I rewatch it and rewatch it. There's some combos that I throw that I'm like, oh wow, like that was actually good. It land. It was technical. It looks good. Now you just need to throw maybe more. That's something
Hmm.
that I always tell myself now. Maybe more, more, more. I feel that um, if people were doubting about my striking, I've been telling people about my striking for years already too. Like the fights that I've been having with Timo Yama, like I've been doing really good on my stand up. Like literally start getting knockouts when I got here. So like now if people really doubt about my striking, that's something that I'm glad that happened in this fight. Like now it's going to take like people is going to put some of respect in my striking. I really believe in my striking. It can be like a really really strong point of mine. And I mean, even before the fight, there was like a couple of like drills that we had to do, you know, things that we have to put on. And I remember Lewis asked me a couple times, "Do you want to roll on the ground? Do you want to roll?" And I was like, "No. Like I know how to roll. I know what to do, and I know this guy wasn't as good in the ground as me." So in that point, I got it covered. Something that I didn't show that I wanted to show a little bit more maybe was my clinching game
Mm.
that I think I've been working a lot on it. I look good on the clinch. I pretty much control the clinch in the fight, but I think like I could strike a little bit more there. Same with my punches. I'm telling you, like, yeah, I improve a lot my hands, but also I feel that I can improve them more. So I'm happy I was able to show my striking how I did, and like if people want to go back and see that fight and see the like now my striking is good. So like you're going to have now another problem. If you have to take me down, I'm going to tap you out. If you want to stand up, I'm gonna knock you out.
That's what's up. I like that. And I do appreciate the fact that when you are watching your growth and your evolution as a fighter, I just always look what's the next trick? What's the next thing that you work on? Because again, with about close to 2 years off, I know that you're working, but sometimes I don't know what that thing is. It wouldn't have surprised me out there if you turned it into a grappling match. It wouldn't have surprised me if you got in there and you knocked the guy out. But for me, I was like, dude, it's always cool when you get to see the kind of manifestation of what you guys are putting in those rounds. Because I know your team, and I
Mm-hmm.
see how much they are having success as well. So it's
Yes.
one of those things. I was just excited that you were getting a fight and you got this opportunity to come back in there and do that thing. I will say this though, at the very end, it was a close fight. Was there any nervousness about the fact that it was a split decision? Because you don't know that at that moment. You're
Uh,
just kind of in that
I
hesitation
was
moment of,
actually surprised. I was actually surprised when I hear the split decision, but I knew I got it. I knew
hmm,
you know I went back again at the beginning. Even when I went down that cage, I remember I asked Lewis. It was a close fight, right? I taught myself it was a close fight. But honestly, now the more that I watch it and stuff, like I think I put like a little bit more of strikes where it has to be. Like I landed more effective, and also like the knockdown on the second round was like a big thing. Like I tell you, I feel that every single clinch thing that like every time we got into the clinch, I was able to have the position, the control. I landed more knees. The control was good. He got me on the cage for like 2 seconds, and I get out of there. The two times that he tried to put me on the cage, I got out of there. And I feel that I was proposing a little bit more too. He's a good striker. Obviously, he was exploding to stuff, but the way I was proposing and I was hitting him was like I feel that it was more effective.
I can get behind
So
that. I noticed something too, which was when you did get that knockdown in the second, I noticed the amount of control that you had where most people might rush that in. They might get a little overexcited. It was very composed. It was almost like you wanted him to kind of come back a little bit into the fight because you weren't done.
Yeah, well, I also think that was like a bad reaction for me. I think I could react different. Like I feel that I was calm enough, but it was a sparring reaction. That's how
Mm,
I call it because I saw him felling, and my reaction wasn't like a fight reaction, like go kill, or here, kill. No, it was more like, oh, he got down. Oh shit, you're fighting. You know, like I
right.
lagged for a second. That's how I felt it, and it was good. It was bad. It made me realize that like okay, that's the little things that you need to that is going to go out after like yeah. I feel it was just a layoff. That was the reactions, but but other than that, I feel good. I think I did good. Like I hit him with a jab. He wasn't expecting that, so like I could go with a knee or a kick, but I went straight up for an uppercut, and like I got into the clinch position, and I got him to recover. So yes, I was composed. I was like, I was always on the fight. I was like, he's there, but maybe it wasn't a good thing.
I don't. It's deceptive, man, because you see some of these fighters who just come back alive, and all of a sudden, like someone revives them on a video game, and they just come back to life,
Yeah,
and you know what I mean. Like you'll be happy for your buddy, and then you go, "Where did that come from? I thought he was done." So I try not to celebrate too quick or too slow on a lot of these things. I did notice this though; they didn't interview you, so I feel like when people don't get interviewed in the post fight interview, we try to take care of that here. So, what would you have said if they had interviewed you after the fight?
well, to be honest, it was this fight was dedicated to my grandpa. Like even before I had the fight, my grandpa died last year. He was already really bad, so it was just time, you know. But I was here. I didn't get to see him. I think it was just really hard, and if I will have an interview, that will be for him. I literally say it, but they took the camera out after I'd say it. But I was able to say, "Papi, like this fight was for him, for my grandpa." Uh, Other than that, I think just UFC. You know, like I would like to get a sign. I will like to fight for you guys. But yeah, in my mind, like a lot of like every second of this fight, I had my grandpa on my head. So uh, that was pretty much what I knew I will say something about it.
Well, first and foremost, my condolences. Second of
Alright.
all, I would like to have a word with the people from LFA's camera crew and their technical directing team who cuts away from someone saying, "I dedicate this fight to my grandpa who died." Like they're
I mean,
like,
I
"Nah."
say it in Spanish too, so like a lot
Oh,
of them, yeah,
well,
a lot of
hold
them.
on. Now I start to piece it together. If you say it in Spanish, that's not going to fly on an
I
American
know.
telecast. They're going to be like, what is this brown guy talking about? Jesus. Again with the
Yeah.
familia. I just think it is pretty impressive that you were able to keep that composure, get the win. Obviously, I'm sure your family was very happy to see that. Um, did that weigh in at any point when you were wanting to get a fight? Because obviously you mentioned that was, a year ago. Was that at the forefront of like, hey man, I'm training. I want the next fight. That's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to dedicate it to his honor. Was that something that was helping you
Honestly,
get there, or
like
what did that mean to you?
uh uh so I saw him when I was on Chihuahua. I spent time with him obviously the last time I was there. And my goal for 2020 was getting into the UFC so he can see me there, you know. I knew even he said it like a couple times as a joke and stuff, but he said like I'm pretty sure he was sure it was going to happen. He said like, "Hey, you know, like I'm not going to last a lot, mijo, so like you need to fight." And I wanted to fight. That was everything I wanted last year. Just fight, so he can see me fighting. You know, there was a lot of things that I wanted to like. Honestly, the striking part of me, I wanted to show it to him because he liked boxing a lot. He liked it a lot, and he always told me about like my boxing and my boxing and my boxing, and I always told him I have a good boxing, I have a good boxing puppy, and I'm gonna show it, and he never got to see it, but there you go, if somebody didn't believe I have a good striking, like there you go, that's what Fernando Padilla does. So
Well,
yeah, my plan was getting in the UFC, but I mean 2020 hits.
I don't think anybody's gonna fault you for 2020. So I don't think anybody's gonna sit here and be like, well, he didn't try. There was a pandemic. We didn't have a ton of options for a little while. And the best part was you are one of those fighters that they do have their eye on. You had fought for LFA before. You were staying active out here in the local California circuit. And then when fights were kind of in this weird nebulous, it just became who's around and who can we match up. So in some senses, it's not even in your full control. But what I can tell you is, all things considered, the fact that you were able to honor his memory and do that, I think is really, really good. Did you hear from your family members, and what was their reaction to your
Oh
performance over the
yeah,
weekend?
there's actually a video of my dad. Give me a second.
Yeah, yeah.
There's actually a video of my dad. That they post. I think it was my sister. But like right away, they like sitting down on the house. My dad like usually put the fights on the house. They usually have like reunions, and all the family goes and see the fight. So like I'm always with that energy because I know they're going to see it. Like I know they are not here and they cannot be here or there in physical, but they're always there watching. I know they're always there watching. And there's a video as they say my name, my dad just jumped, hey! And everybody obviously, and my grandma was watching the fight on my house with my mom and my dad, and she asked me to, like it was for my grandpa, obviously, like a lot of my aunties, a couple of my cousins asked me like, hey, don't forget this fight is for Papi, this fight is for Papi. So like even in my shorts, the letters that I have the Mexican flag on the right, and I have letters on my left, and it's the initials of my grandpa.
That is pretty cool. That is, I will say, it is also a very Mexican thing to do for everybody in the family to be like, well, you're fighting first before any of us. So I'm just
Yeah.
here to remind you, you better dedicate this to grandpa. And you're like, no, no, I will. And it's like, no, 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 no. You're getting some TV time to fight. You
You have
better
to.
dedicate this to him. And you're like, I am. I don't know what else I'm supposed to do. So I think that is pretty funny because I can almost guarantee you my family would almost do the exact same thing if I was fighting. They'd be like, did you forget grandpa? No.
You have to say grandpa, grandma, and then us first, and then everyone else.
Absolutely. And listen, you can't forget anybody too. That's the worst part is you're like looking at them, you go, no, no, you obviously forgot one person and you're going to hear from them a little bit later.
Always. You have
Well,
too much family.
now I'm
Oh,
super pissed they didn't interview you. So, okay, I'm glad we were able to remedy that because that's something I didn't know necessarily. Like, that wasn't something they knew on the broadcast and were really addressing. That wasn't something that I really saw you post a ton about in terms of really cementing it. I knew that the fight meant something to you. I was vaguely familiar that there was something with your family, but I think to be able to express that and put that into stone is very nice. I do want to ask this because you mentioned a little bit about going home. In our first interview that we did on this show, you seemed to identify how much you missed being there. So when did you actually get the opportunity to go back home and what prompted that?
the last time I went was on December, the last 2019. I was pretty much, well, it was more than just December. It was like 4 months. I was since end of September, November, October, November, December, and then I stay all the way till 2020. And right in 2020, I think last of February, I came back here. Um, Honestly, was so good to be back home for a minute. I'm one of the Oyama fighters that are here like pretty much all the time. You know, like there's always people who comes and go. It was more before, you know. We had people who always was coming and going and like kind of visiting home and then coming back and always having breaks. But I've been one of the Team Oyama members since I came here, since that I've been here just grinding every the year, helping everyone, you know. So it was good to take a rest. It was good to see my family. I got to see my grandpa, like I told you for the last time. Um, just make sure my family was good. My mom and my dad were doing good. Um, but at the end of the day, like my life is here too. It's just really funny how I'm here and I miss Chihuahua so much. Like I really really like it's a feeling that always going to have. But I'm over there in Chihuahua and I'm thinking like, hey man, I'm losing time. I'm losing time. Like I need to go back. I need to train. Like maybe not too much because I feel that I miss more Chihuahua because of my family and my friends and everybody who's there. And I have family and friends here that I miss a lot too, but it's more about like the career, you know. Like I feel that I start seeing everyone, like I start watching everyone fighting or like training or posting videos, and I feel like I'm getting back, like oh shit, like I need to go and do. But I think that's the biggest feeling, like. But missing Chihuahua is always in me. Like I love my hometown. I love my hometown so much.
I just want to tell you from my perspective, some people go for a week to go visit their homes or whatever, So I saw you were there and I go, is he going to be there for a while? And I did see you were there for a while, but I also knew how necessary that was, especially given how much you were speaking about it, how much you were telling me back then that you missed it. And I think most people who are there, especially in your family, know how much it meant to you to be in California, to be training with this team. So I don't think anybody faults you, but I think it was just good for all of you guys to kind of be able to get together. I was a little interested in asking you, it looked like you were still training though in Mexico. So where did you go train and what did it feel like to go back and train out
Uh,
that way?
Obviously, if I'm there, it's kind of worse. You know, you're here, and obviously here you're by yourself. Nobody should be telling you like, hey, you need to be training at this time. You need to wake up at this time. You need to be mature enough and just waking up and do your stuff. You know, you need to train. You need to go and do this. You need to go and do that. Uh, so here I'm by myself. So like here I have to train. I need to push myself. But when I'm home, even if I want to, like, this is something really funny, but even if I want to rest for a week back home, like, everybody knows I'm here training and stuff. So, like, I go back there and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to chill for 1 week. And my dad and my mom don't like, oh man, it's impossible to chill back there because I'm living, like, obviously I'm going back to mom and house, that like mom and dad house. So it's like, okay, you're here but you're going to still do stuff, you're not going to just rest. And then if I'm not training, uh obviously I need to be like doing other stuff back home, like I need to be helping my mom, helping my dad, just I don't know, helping with my brother, my sister, training. And that's how I fill up my days. Before I was here, before I came here, that was my days, is school and training. And now I don't have school, so it's pretty much help on the house, help with my mom and dad, and training. And obviously we have the Mexican in us, that every weekend is kind of like a party. But but other than that, I was just training back home with my old coach, Mauricio Ramirez. He's the Ten Planet Chihuahua coach. um I feel that this, I always say it and I say it like that, and I say it because it's like he's the one who showed me and I believe it. But 10 Planet Jiu-Jitsu in Chihuahua is the best. Is the best jiu-jitsu system in there. We have really good other really good coaches in other like in gi jiu-jitsu and stuff like that, and I feel that they are better. But 10 Planet Jiu-Jitsu or no gi jiu-jitsu in Chihuahua, the coach Mauricio is the best. So like I always go there. He have really good guys rolling all the time, killers like always. He's a really good coach. And I'm in Chihuahua, I'm in Mexico, so it's impossible not to have a good boxing coach. And thanks to my coach Mauricio, I have a contact over there, my coach Gustavo. uh he's a master when he hold pads for me, he trained me, he specifically like look at everything I'm doing, how am I doing, he like correct my technical errors, so like he helped me with my cardio, with everything, and it's really cool to have people like that, that you can go and also keep training there and also have a good training. But
What did? Oh, go ahead.
no, yeah, it was pretty much it.
It's fine. Uh, I am also interested to hear what did he notice in terms of improvements, because I think that's one of the fascinating things about going home is that you do find that they see things that you've been improving or they see something new in you. And that was the first time in a bit since you had been back. What did he say that had changed or that he had seen some improvement with?
Well, when I go over there, the thing is this. I feel that the one who told me the most is Coach Mauricio, because my jiu-jitsu actually it's different. Like it's not the same. When I was there training with him, it was me and him all the time, training, rolling, doing everything together. So like I remember we got to a point of rolling me and him that it was just a circle, like a circle, literally. Like we already know what we were going to do, how we were going to do it. So it turns into this rolling that like, okay, we're just getting to the same stuff and getting stuck. And then now that like we pretty much don't know nothing about each other, how we've been evolving on our jiu-jitsu, it's really fun. And something that I can see is that my jiu-jitsu got a little bit more like wrestling too. The the way I defend, the way I attack, it's a little bit more of position if I can. But I always take my if you get me to the back, if you get me to my guard, you know what's going to happen. So I feel that my jiu-jitsu, just because of the level that we are into, like I roll with the higher belts and stuff like that. That's way different than rolling always with blue belts and stuff like that. So I feel that my jiu-jitsu for sure got better. And Coach Gustavo always he man, he's just like it's tough because he make it right. you know, if my jab have a little bit of lag, or I'm not doing something right in my jab, I'm going to work with the jab like at the beginning, just jabs till I get it again sharp, like he wanted, like he like it. And the good thing is that he sharpened my hands up. Like I do feel that every time like I go back there and I train with him, my hands come back here sharper, and also like I can hit a little bit harder,
Mm.
because it's boxing training. Like he actually like grabbed my hands. He helped me with everything, every single punch I throw. Even in the sparring, he's there like looking at me like clearly, telling me my faults, everything. So I feel that's like one of the biggest things when I go back to Chihuahua. I always look forward to train with him for sure.
That's awesome. I do want to transition to this because you did show me a timeline, or at least you mentioned something. You were there in 2019, October, November, December, January. Then in February, you came back. If I'm doing that math right, you come back and then we're dealing with a pandemic. So you would literally come back to America to go, hey, things are getting weird. So, how did the pandemic affect your training, if at all?
Honestly, like it just like it changed our life right away. Like it was for us, it was like a storm. It was just really hard. The whole situation about the pandemic. I was here to train to see if I can fight and then go back home fast. And then like not everything is shot. And then all the border is shot too. Like all these things are shot. Like you cannot do nothing. You cannot go out of your house. And things start like increasing and well, gyms are closed. There's no money on the gym. There's the fighter house just like kind of dismiss, and we don't have more fighter house, so we need to grind to stay here. We need to look to see how we're going to stay, how we're going to uh like help each other in this situation. And a couple of us suffer, but we grind and we are like back up, back up, back ready to fight. And at least two of us already show it. There was Flo and myself on LFA, but I live with another two kids that, man, they're ready to kill it. Like they're ready to go. They're ready to handle business whenever we have fights. I talk a little bit with people from LFA about Robert. He's another kid from Chihuahua that I
Mm-hmm.
bring here a year ago, and he's been training with us. And man, he's so good. He's so good. He's 20 years old. And then we have Yuma Horiguchi. He's a Japanese
Mm-hmm.
kid too, superstar on Japan. I mean, they are good kids. They're like young kids too. That they've been helping me a lot. They've been like we've been pushing each other, and I know they're ready. I know they're ready to put a show. And I feel that that's something that I make it easier having people around to like that we actually start from zero, but we start together, and that'd make it way easier. And I'm really grateful for that happened like that. But I mean, the pandemic was bad for everyone. Like just the simplest thing is like closing everything was just horrible, horrible. Like I couldn't fight. I couldn't fight in a whole year. I'm like, ah, it's, it was just too much.
I'm also very, very much like in that area of wanting to learn more and more about how it affected people's games. Just from the jiu-jitsu side, did it have an impact? Did you have to take time off of any of your jiu-jitsu training? Because I noticed that a lot of different people had different ways it affected them.
Well, I tell you, like, thank God we have a solid team, and we stood training for a minute. But but I mean, yes, like a lot of the grappling part, like those things had actually to stop completely. Like you cannot go and do wrestling or jiu-jitsu on the concrete. So like, yeah, we train, we hit pads, we drill between each other, but we cannot do other stuff if we are outside. So I feel that that was something for everyone. Like that was not just for like certain amount of people. Like if you were doing grappling constantly, like I'm pretty sure your jiu-jitsu lag a little bit. Uh, there was blessed, like there was we were blessed to have a well, different spots to always go and train, different people who always like take care of us. So uh, we keep training, we keep training, but I mean, I feel that it turned into a more of a striking thing with the time, and we are taking more of the jiu-jitsu now again. So it was just time.
Yeah, I think we're all still feeling it in different degrees, and it's different for me, which is a hobbyist, where you have to take time off, and you kind of have to work around whatever the gym situations are. But this is your profession, so my heart always hurts for you guys because I think you got to figure out a way. You got to stay training because whoever you're probably going to fight has been training as well.
Yeah.
So it's a very difficult experience to have, I'm sure, for so many people. I do have a couple questions that I kind of want to go through here. Number one, I notice you're wearing a Bulls jersey. Now, which Bulls jersey might you be wearing? 91. What is the significance of 91, sir?
Uh, it's quiz.
Dennis Rodman, right. So let's talk about that. Of all Bulls to get, all of them, there's many. Why Dennis Rodman, sir?
I mean, I'm the perfect example why Dennis Rodman. Like, I did wanted to go out by to this fight with the cheetah print on the hair, but I just don't find someone to do it.
I mean, you could probably pull off the cheetah print, but again, I'm still not getting a full answer here because I know that you're saying, like, how do you not see me as Dennis Rodman? Well, one, you haven't married yourself in a dress. Number two, you aren't out there being the bad boy of MMA. And three, Dennis Rodman was wildly crazy at that time. I don't really figure you as a wildly crazy person. If anything, I find you as
I
more
mean,
of a fun, goofier version of Dennis Rodman, if anything.
yeah, for sure. I'm the PG version. But I'm still 24, so like, the good thing is that hey, my mom and my dad will slap me if I do dumb shit. So like, I'm pretty sure I'll be good for life.
I just, it was funny because I was sitting there and I go, I think that is Rodman's jersey. I just wanted to make sure as I like write a note down here and I go, is he really wearing Rodman's jersey? Because I'm like, okay, that's
Yep.
cool. I could understand though that you're a very lanky guy, so it kind of goes together. But I was like, if this dude thinks that that's his spirit animal, I think we need to have a chat about that.
It is. It is. I know when to stop.
I know when to stop is very different. Okay, that completely checks out there. Well, as we start to kind of transition back to, I guess, we talked about COVID, how that affected your training, and you mentioned something about UFC. So I want to ask you a question. Can you move your head just a little bit over the side over here? Is that say UFC up on that flag there?
Yeah.
Okay. So is that a manifestation? What is the symbolism behind putting the UFC on that flag?
I put it at the beginning of this year. It's a letter that says we fighting in UFC 2021, and yeah, I put it on the flag. My bed is literally here, so like every time I wake up, there's the first thing I see is the flag, and now the first thing I see too is the UFC there. So yeah, honestly, I use it as they say. It's not like I write all my day and like I write all my month and like, oh, this is going to happen. This is how it's going to happen. But it's always good to remind yourself like every morning while you're doing stuff. I always have my family in my mind. I always have my country in my mind. But now I have my goal. I need to have it there, and it needs to come true. That's what I want. That's what I want more. The only thing I want this 2020 is that like be able be able to be in the UFC, say I'm a UFC fighter, fight for them, and going to be the best in the world. That's what I want. That's I want to prove it. I want to prove it, and that's the first step over there.
What do you think is the way you get there? Do you feel like is the thing to fight LFA one more time? Is it just, hopefully you can get one of those fights that they're putting in right now? Like, what is going to get you there? Because you already have it dead set in your mind. I'm just curious what it is that's going to get you there.
I mean, it can happen. Like it can happen in a lot of ways. Like I've been talking with a lot of people. Everybody see it different. Uh, I think the like whatever happens has to happen. That's what I am open right now to, and that's something that helps me a lot for this last fight and for whatever comes for like this year, is that I'm ready. Like it doesn't matter who calls, when they call, I'm ready, and I prove it for this fight. Like hey, like if I'm fighting a striker, I'm fighting a striker. If I'm fighting a wrestler, I'm fighting a wrestler. If I'm fighting someone, like I just want to fight and prove that I'm ready. That's pretty much the best thing I can do. Uh, I just want to fight. Like I like uh, yeah, I just honestly is the only thing I want this year, just to fight and let my fight talk. I don't. I'm not the type of that's the only thing too. Like I'm not the type of guy who's going to be here saying like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna win and I'm gonna get all these things. all this. Like I can tell you right now, it will be super easy for me to just tell you like, oh yeah, I want to fight 2 more times with LFA, and then maybe just ask them for the title, or just tell them to fight for the title because he's vacant. Like it's just not what I'm pointing at right now. Like I'm pointing at fighting, showing that I deserve the spot that everybody said that I deserve and that I know I deserve. And that's my mindset. That's my goal. I want that. I want that the most. I want to see. I want to be able to. It's funny, and like at the beginning I didn't like it when the rebook sign and all those stuff, but like I do want to see my name on the shorts. I do want to see Padilla on, like, and show it to my dad, show it to my grandpa, uh just see that I put my name somewhere like important, like, and then after that just go for what I want. Like what I want the most is just to be the best and prove it, and that's pretty much how I want it to be. Just like not say it. I just want my fighting to talk, and I feel that I've been doing good with it.
I mean, just looking at your stats, it's a very versatile resume to begin with. You have knockouts, you have submission wins. There's no knockouts to you. The fights that you've had, they're close. If you have had a loss, like it is a very all over the place resume in terms of you can show that you can hang. And more importantly, I think what this demonstrated to me on this fight was, yeah, okay, there's a little bit of a layoff, but you take a good punch and you return with a good punch. So
Yep.
it's just a matter of if there's a right opportunity, you seem game for it. And we've seen crazy things happen within the past year within the UFC. And, even looking at how things worked for Christian, that was an amazing thing to see him get in there. So,
Yeah.
like, your team is right in that cusp of seeing even greater things happen for them. So I wouldn't be surprised if we chat
Yeah,
again
like
soon and that's
that's the
happening.
thing. Like a lot of people don't understand that, but like we are in Timoyama just getting ready every day, every single day. Like that's like the whole thing about Timoyama. We leave ready. We are literally leaving on a fight camp. So that's at the same time that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I just want to fight. Like I'm on a point of my career that if you ask me, I want to get in the UFC, and I feel I have the numbers. I have, like, it was impressive to see too with 24 years old, all the guys who fought on the same car as me in LFA, and I'm the second guy with most fights. Like I'm like everybody else have 10, or like not even 10, 8, 9 and going down, or like 10 fights total, and like I'm already fighting like my 13th win, and it's just like now that I'm 24, now it hits me more like, oh wow, like I'm actually still young and I still have a lot of fights. And uh and I mean, like, I tell you, it's 13-4. Like it can be a UFC call, it can be another fight on LFA. I do it. I just want to do it. Like I leap for this.
It's absolutely true. And I mean, you're looking at just the regional rankings: third in California, fifth in the West, 10 in the United States. Like they're impressive stats. So I think it's coming. It's just, I just keep looking around and I laugh because, this past year we would see people that I'd go, I think he fought that guy. Okay. Okay, well, that means that they've seen some of his work, and even like looking around to see what the next things may be for the division that you do fight in. It's kind of like, I think you're in good standing. So it's just, yeah, we'll see what happens. Is kind of my favorite thing to tell people, and you have a good work ethic. I do want to bring up a couple of these comments that we did get, and it says over here from Manuel that says. Saludos, campeón. I see Julio Padilla that says, my cousin is a fucking beast. UFC very soon. I think this is Jorge. Let's go for. And then hello, Padilla. So you're getting some love from the people here who are saying wonderfully nice things. I know they always tune in for you. They always get excited to see those things. Well, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put a little pin in our conversation here because, as I mentioned, good things seem to be coming your way in my brain, And we will probably have an opportunity, I'm sure, to catch up whenever the next fight is, whenever that may be. Who knows? It could be sooner than we know. But I
Never
want to
know.
give you the opportunity to go ahead and shout out your team, go ahead and give compliments or shout outs to any of your friends and family that helped to get you through this fight camp and to get you set, and also to remind people where they can find you. So, sir, the floor is all yours.
Thank you. First in English, thank you a lot to Team Oyama, everybody in Team Oyama, every single one. Obviously the fight team, Christian, Richie, Robert, everybody who helped me for this camp, Evan, all the people from Long Beach, who like helped me with the sparring. Team Oyama, like we're family. We're here for this. We're going for more wins. We just opened the year. En español, a toda mi familia, a todos mis amigos de Chihuahua, de México, los que estén viendo, muchas gracias por todo el apoyo, muchas gracias por siempre, pues todos los mensajes, las publicaciones, todo lo que hacen por mí, el enseñarme que están conmigo y la verdad es que no se imaginan lo mucho que extraño mi ciudadcita, mi ranchito y a toda mi familia, a toda mi gente. Los amo mucho, gracias por siempre estar ahí. Siempre voy a estar representando y hasta ponerlo en lo más alto. For everything else, just if you don't follow me on Instagram, go and follow me on Instagram, El Valiente MMA. Y pues un abrazo a todos, a big hug for everyone, and like I love you guys all. Thank you so much for all the support.
You see how easy it is, LFA? You just let the man speak, even if it is in Spanish.
Yes.
You don't have to cut away from him. It's not a scary language, I promise you. It's usually very easy to follow. And even if you don't speak it, you kind of get the gist of it. You're like, wait, hold on. I think it's a lot of, I love
Yeah,
my
but I can
family.
speak both languages. If they want me to speak whatever, I just do it.
Listen, dude, I just feel it's one of those things where I don't know if they know that. And I'm not going to assume they're watching this. They did retweet us. So it is possible that they might see part of this. But I'm just saying, LFA people, I work in media too. And when the dude starts speaking in Spanish and you don't know he's saying, I love you, Grandpa, you might have messed up. You guys might have cut away from a very nice moment. So fortunately, we hear back cleanup and we take a look at those things. So Fernando, hey man, I just wanted to compliment you. Great grit, great fight. I just more than anything was happy to see you back out there. And I know Corona has given some fighters like a million fights and they fought like 50 times during this time. And some of the guys didn't fight at all within that period. So to see you back in LFA, it looked like it was a place where you really belong being. So as one friend to another, I just want to let you know, man, congratulations on your win. And thank you again for making sure we would be the first interview with you because listen, that means a lot to us, especially, once you make it to LFA to UFC. You're probably going to get some marijuanas coming your way. And listen, dude, I'm just saying, you can go on his show, but like, Ariel doesn't know you like.
Let's see what happened. Hopefully, look, primero Dios, y we're going to be there.
Absolutely. So here's what I'm going to do, dude. I'm going to go ahead and close this up right now. I'm going to say bye to you off air, but I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, friend of the show, our good pal, Fernando Padilla. All right, everybody, here's what we're going to do. Couple quick reminders. We are going to be doing a few things this week. We're going to have another Fight Companion over on Saturday. If you haven't listened to the latest Verbal Tap, first of all, you can amend that right now. Go over, listen to it. Dan Martinez returns to find out if he beat Kevin in Over Under Kevin. Plus, we talk about a really rough day for Jiu-Jitsu and Rodolfo losing. It was tough. It wasn't really fun to watch. But we have an intervention for ourselves, and we have a little bit of a pity party. But we also talk about the amazing performance of Kamaru Usman, if he truly is the GOAT, if we're not putting enough respect on his name. Go find out the answers to that and much, much more. Also, as a big reminder, if you guys want to get your gym featured, we're asking for funny videos at a minute's length. Show the personality of your gym. That's as easy as it is. Tell people if they're interested in this sort of thing. Reach out to coaches. You can always slide into my DMs to ask me any kind of clarifying question. I'm always happy to answer those. That is going to do it for us. If you don't follow us, do it right now. All these channels: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and the rest. you guys can follow them at Grappling Hour and at Verbal Tapcast. My name is Rafa Sparza. It's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats eventually.